welcome to Living Life and Love.
I'm your host, Mark Braxton from Raleigh, North Carolina. This is a global vitiligo awareness and education podcast. You hear the true and authentic stories from people living with vitiligo. Yeah. You'll also hear from their loved ones, medical professionals, licensed mental health therapists, relationship counselors, global vitiligo support foundations, organizations, community leaders, and so much more. Stay back and enjoy living life in love.
Once again, I'm your host,
Mark Braxton. Raleigh, North Carolina.
Welcome to Living Life in Love. I'm your host, Mark Braxton from Raleigh, North Carolina. So on today's show, I have my special guest and my former MC from this past weekend, Alison. Now, Alison, you have to do me a favor before you get started. Correctly pronounce your last name because I always got it wrong. That's why I never said it.
It's all good. Hey, Mark, I am Alison Houpt, and I am from Dallas, Texas.
See, I always said it wrong. That's why I would never say it. I don't know if you caught on to that.
All good.
Hap.
All good.
Okay.
It's Houpt. Like, what's happening?
Yeah, now I got to remember that. Alison, what's happening?
Exactly.
See, those are those moments where you keep it to yourself and then later you're like, I never said a last name because I couldn't pronounce it. So there we go.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, so we had an exciting weekend last weekend, but we're going to get to that towards the middle and end. So once again, welcome to the show. And for people that out there listening, this is our second chance because the first time we had some technical difficulties. And this time we're going to make it happen. Hopefully no storms will pop up.
That's right.
Absolutely. So let's start this way. What is the temperature like there in Dallas, Texas?
Hot. But my husband loves to run the AC on like full blast, so I still have a sweatshirt on.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm telling you, it is hot here as well. You know, it's like we broke a record yesterday for North Carolina, not for the whole summer, but it was 103 yesterday, or 102, 103. And the heat index is like 111 up to 115. I'm like, that's just hot.
So you could be a Texan.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, whatever weather you guys are getting, like in Dallas, we get almost the same thing, minus all the snow.
That's wild. We don't really get snow.
Well, y'all get it more than we do. Like
we're waiting for
snow. right.
That much.
Okay, that sounds like us then. It's like, hey, there's some snow coming. There it is, and they'll close the schools. Well, correction. I said snow. Let me correct that.
Ice.
Carolina, we get nothing but ice, and people complain and they say, why did they close the schools? Well, I do not like ice skating into work.
Amen.
So
amen. That's funny.
Absolutely. They're like, why are they talking about ice skating and ice? Well, just because we want to. We want to talk about
exactly. Exactly. That's right.
All right. So let's talk vitiligo. For people that don't know, it's pronounced vitiligo. You can say it really fast, vitiligo, and you can say it. It is not vitiligo, it's not vitiligo, it's not all those things.
Vitiligo.
Vitiligo.
All the
and it's not vertigo either. But I
different
get it.
condition.
Right. We've heard vertigo all of our lives, vertigo, and then you hear something that's vitiligo, you go, oh, it's just vertigo. No, it's not the same. No. So let's talk about your journey with vitiligo. Sure. Just start, like, when did you start with it? And let's talk about the emotions and feelings that went along with your diagnosis.
Yeah. So I was kind of, it's funny because I feel like half the people that I meet are either diagnosed as a child or are diagnosed as an adult. I come from the adult camp. I was diagnosed when I was 28. I have had it now, oh gosh, 12 years.
Don't try to figure out the years. Just say for a long time.
A long time. I'm 39 and I got it when I was 28. So I, was, and I guess we'll touch on this in a little bit later when we talk about the conference, but Winnie really touched my heart because she had said, that her heart went out to people who were diagnosed as adults because I knew what life was like without vitiligo.
Right.
And woke up one day and was like, what the bleep is happening to me? It was so crazy. So I had like my first spot here on my wrist And I was like, huh. And I had gone on a vacation, and, it was like one of those places that they give you the stupid bracelet, and it's like the all-inclusive thing, and you have to wear the stupid bracelet. And I was like, well, golly, my bracelet must have not moved, and I must have just not gotten a tan there. That's weird.
Oh, right.
And so I go to my dermatologist, who he was really great. I was seeing Dr. James Herndon in Dallas, and he left me on the like paper table, and he said, I'll be right back. Right back turned into 45 minutes. And then at this point, I'm like planning my funeral, mentally, because we don't know, right? And you just get left in this room, and he comes back with a stack of papers, yay thick. And he said, this is vitiligo. This is what Michael Jackson had. At the time, Dr. Amit Pandya was in Dallas at UT Southwestern. And he was like, I'm going to refer you to Dr. Pandya. I don't treat this. And I'm like, but you're a dermatologist. What do you
Right.
mean you don't treat this? This is so strange. So, I left almost discouraged in a sense, but I was at least so thankful that he was willing to say, hey, I'm not the expert. This is an expert. This is where you need to go to get treatment. And ultimately, that did help me get on the right path. And it was kind of funny. So right after that happened, Dr. Alan Minter, he's since retired, super cool South African dermatologist who was practicing here in Dallas. He was doing a phase 1 study, which is now Opzelura. And I had enough on my face. So I don't know if you can tell, but I have lost pigment around my mouth and my eyes. I've got like the puppy dog pattern.
Right.
And I had enough there that I was able to get into his study, which was very interesting. I hated it. But I've always felt like, I'm of age, and if there's something that I can do to help a child,
Right.
living with vitiligo, if that means me being a guinea pig, sign me up, because these precious kiddos really deserve, a chance at a cure or a treatment, or, something that can help them feel better about, whatever their situation is. So I did that, and it was quite the experience.
Wow. It's funny. You talk about people starting later in life.
Yeah.
It is hard.
Mhm.
As someone that I also started around 26, I'm 53 now.
Yeah.
So, it's where you live your life, high school, elementary, middle, high school, college, and then you graduate from college, everything's cool. Then you sit at one spot and you're like, huh? What is that?
Yeah.
And you start checking it out, oh, I must have had a scab, but and then the next spot shows up, you're like, hmm. Then you keep seeing more and more spots. It's like, okay, what's happening? Um, our dermatologist here at the time, he didn't give me such a great experience because he did not study vitiligo. He knew
Mhm.
about it, but he didn't study it. So anyone that went to see him from Raleigh, whether you're in Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Cary, and if it was about vitiligo, all you received was a pamphlet, a prescription, and goodbye. That
Yeah.
was it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
get that.
it was crazy. And I had Dr. Herndon was really kind, and I had a good experience with him, even though he didn't treat it. He knew who to
Right.
send me to. And then, I can't hate Dr. Pandya for moving and leaving and going on to, bigger, better things. We're of course super happy for him. But, it was discouraging when he left. And then when Dr. Minter retired, because he was doing a ton of research, and somebody might correct me. I think maybe his pet project, or what he really loved researching, was more alopecia and
Okay.
psoriasis. But when this opportunity came up for vitiligo, and I believe they're closely enough related from a research sense, he was like happy to help with it. So that was great. But when he retired, I was like, what do you mean? I'm left without anyone. And I'm in
Right.
this major, metro. And oddly enough, it took me knowing Alicia Roofs. So if you're listening, you might know who she is. She's a vitiligo pioneer, patient advocate in Minnesota. And we were chatting one day, and I was like, I think I'm going to get on an airplane. I'm going to go see somebody, one
Right.
of the well-known doctors in the vitiligo world, whether it's like Dr. Harris, Dr. Huggins, Dr. Grimes, like Dr. Pandya. I
Right.
was going somewhere. And she goes, "Hey, there's this doctor and he's in Plano. And do you know where Plano, Texas is?" And I started laughing and I'm like,
Down the
Aisha,
street.
I was like, Plano's about 20, 30 minutes from me. And so she said, "You've got to go see Dr. Desai." And I was like, "Semal Desai, cool. Oh my gosh." So I'm like looking up and I'm like, I literally get my car service next to like where his office
Oh,
is. And
wow.
I would have never known, that he was around had I not, just been connected with this great community. And
Right,
so
right.
I think that's the power of just really getting to know other patients for many
Absolutely.
reasons.
Right, absolutely. I just had someone reach out to me and ask for a dermatologist in the area.
Mhm.
Um, and I did not recommend the dermatologist I saw. I
Right.
recommended his assistant who studies vitiligo. And
Yep.
that's new for his office. So that's how we
That's
connect each
awesome.
other. Something
Yeah.
you said that uh I can't say it bothers me, but it does when it comes to clinical trials.
Yeah.
Like, so at first glance, you say, "Oh, he doesn't have much in his face, blah, blah, blah." Well, I do have it around my mouth and down on my chin, over here, down here, but I have facial hair that covers it. But when I
Mhm.
cut it, you can clearly see it. I'm just
Right.
starting to start two spots. I'm sorry, I'm not poking myself in the eye, people. I'm just showing you. I have two spots in the corner of my eyes. Somebody said maybe it's from your glasses, and I'm like, well, my glasses sit down here. It's right in the corner, and it's turning white.
Yeah.
Hasn't started spreading, but it's
Mhm.
there. It's like I see you, and then I have this vitiligo patch right on the top of my head. So, I have vitiligo, but they always tell me you don't have enough. I'm like,
Right.
well, what about
But I
down here?
do.
What about all of my arms? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't
Yeah.
have enough. Okay, my feet are almost white, so my hands. I mean, how much more do you want? But I understand they want
Yeah.
another face.
It's interesting, and part of me, I'm kind of a nerd, and I tell everybody I have an MD from WebMD. I'm a Google doctor. I'm one of those
Yeah,
patients that something's wrong with me, and I'm gonna find the bottom of the internet because I want to understand it.
right,
And
right,
I think that's just part of being curious. And I don't know. I think that that's what can prevent dementia and Alzheimer's is just being like naturally curious and wanting to continue
absolutely,
learning, throughout your life. And so when I got vitiligo, I immediately was like, okay, who has it? What is it? Because we
right.
all know Michael Jackson. Okay, well, great. Like he's not the only one, right? Oddly enough, I don't know if you saw this last weekend. So our beloved Winnie Harlow, she posted a picture with Martha Stewart. So a lot of
Yes,
people aren't even aware Martha Stewart has vitiligo.
yes,
And she has spoken some about it on social media very briefly. But it's also interesting too, because coming to a conference as a lighter complected person and then seeing people like Martha Stewart, she lives with the same
right.
thing. And we come in a broad spectrum of, every color of the skin rainbow, if you will. And, so it's been really neat to, I think, to see other people come out and talk about it for the first time.
Absolutely. And I can share this. She was on our list of people to contact for the keynote speaker. It did not work out, but we still try to reach out to her. So, yes.
Yeah.
So, we thought
Martha,
about Martha Stewart.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you're listening to this, Martha, we want you. We love you.
Come to Dallas.
Yes. Shout out Martha Stewart. Come to Dallas. Maybe we'll
Right.
get Snoop there too.
That was the same thing I said in our meeting. I said, hey, if we get Martha, we get Snoop. Well, no, why not?
They are the most like funny pairing of best friends, and I couldn't love it anymore. They're great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've kind of given up on clinical trials in that way when it comes to medication, but lifestyle, I'll join a clinical trial to talk about lifestyles, but sometimes
Yeah.
I I don't know what they're looking for because I'm like, if you want to know about vitiligo, okay, we know about the scientific aspect, but really what you want to do is talk to the people who live with it to find
Right.
out what it's like to live with the condition when you go out in public and people looking at you, they're staring at you. Some people are very nice and they overly speak to you. Hi, how are you? Can I help you? No,
It's
I'm
almost
good.
awkward. It feels
Yeah,
funny sometimes. I'm like, we're normal.
right. No, get away from me. I'm good. I don't need
Yeah,
any
yeah,
extra
yeah.
help. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, can you carry this big heavy thing for me? I could do it myself, but since you
I
offered.
know.
But it
Yeah.
is weird in a sense. And I was talking to one of our members in the community, and we were talking about relationships and dating and how challenging it can be. And what she said was, and I agree, this could be a little offensive, that one of her friends felt like she would be better off dating somebody else with vitiligo. So they tried to hook her up with somebody else with vitiligo. And I'm like, yeah. And she said no, like that she met the guy, was nice, but just nothing in common.
Right.
And I've had
Except for
somebody
their skin.
that's it, except for the skin. And I've had somebody say that to me. Why don't you consider dating somebody with vitiligo? That is great. That's what we have in common, but it's got to go deeper than that. You have to have a
Yeah.
deeper level conversation or connection besides just the skin. If that's
Yeah.
it, we're just skin folk.
Well, but also exactly skin folk and kin folk. But like also, how would you find each other? I mean, if 1% of the world has vitiligo, okay, so our dating pool is now 1%.
Right.
You
It's
know,
limited
I
to the
mean,
conference.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you think, okay, 50% men, 50% women. Like if you're looking for a gal, it's like, well, okay, 50% of all humans are ladies that you could be interested in. And then now you shrink that to 1%.
Right.
It's like, well,
And
I mean,
I'm not
we never see anybody with vitiligo. Like when I
right.
go in public, and this has also been hard for me too, as someone with like lighter complexion, is how to approach somebody. Or, and so I just don't do it because I'm
Right.
like, if they can't see that I'm like blatantly like them, I don't ever want to make someone feel a certain way. And so I just avoid saying anything,
I mean,
you know,
why
and
don't you
it's,
just walk up and be like, hey, look,
hey, yeah.
I'm like you.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
No,
Hey, I
that's
know.
weird.
Well, yeah, it's funny. And like, so my husband and I, we were in Rome. Oh gosh, this was like 3 years ago. I don't know. Time, it's a blur. Might even be four at this point. It's been a minute. We've been to a lot of conferences and a lot of things since then. But I was at the Coliseum and there was a man, he was Chinese, he spoke Mandarin, and I knew that much, but he didn't speak any English and I
Right.
didn't speak any Chinese other than shishi,
Right.
thank you. That's it. And we saw each other and our eyes just kind of locked, and my husband's like, what is going on? And his wife's kind of like, what? Like, because
Hmm?
we look like we've seen our sibling, from
Right.
across the world, and we both went. And it was the coolest little moment. And he like got little tears, and I was like, ah, and we gave each other a hug, and we were like, bye, and that was it.
That's it. We
And it
we
was the
have
coolest thing.
well, people with vitiligo have a universal language, even if you
Yeah.
don't speak to each other, even if you speak different languages. Once you see the skin, it's like, ah, that's my
You're one
family.
of my
I
people.
get you.
Yep.
I understand what your journey. I know what you're going through. I
Yeah.
see you. We see each
Yeah.
other. Other people
Yep.
sometimes see through us and
Sure.
pass to people back there. And yeah, that's one of those things.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard. So I was divorced and am happily remarried. And, when I went on my first date with my now husband, I was like, okay, God, here we go. Like, if you have vitiligo, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And as somebody lighter complected, mine's not blatantly obvious. So we're bumblebees. We met on Bumble. And I was like, it wasn't really something blatantly obvious. And I wasn't trying to also advertise that I had it, because some people
Right.
are also, they have like weird fetishes about it. And so I was like, you know what, we're just not gonna talk about it. And when I meet him, if I even like him at the beginning, I'll be like, hey, this is what it is. So I think within the first 15 minutes, I was like, hey, like I have vitiligo. Like
Right.
these are my hands. And I was like, and the second question is, no, it's not contagious. Yes, it can spread, it can change, and yes, it's everywhere. And he was like, okay, so like, cool. And it was so funny because he's like, well, I guess like you didn't have to pay for your tattoos. I was like, no, I don't.
No,
Mine are free, but it was like that dread of just, oh God,
we all go through that. Yes.
yeah. I'm like, just rip the Band-Aid.
Right. And I know sometimes I've even heard this comment that men don't go through some of the same things that women do. Yes, we do. We just don't talk about it.
I would
Um,
disagree. I feel like y'all totally should. I mean,
yeah,
you should talk about it, and
right,
you should have a sense of community where you can, because it's the same thing.
right. And that I think that's one of the challenges is that we feel we don't have the same sense of community
Right.
until we get to the conference. I
Yeah,
know
I can
then
see that.
that's once a year we truly get to open up and share what we think, what we
Yeah.
feel, how it feels to live with vitiligo. but we should have a safe space. I feel like all the time where we can just say, "Hey,
Yeah.
this is what I'm going through. This is what it's like." Although you see me smiling, you don't see my moments when I'm not. You don't see my
Right.
moments and I'm looking at my skin going, you know, being invited to certain events, like you're hesitant. Like Friday, I was supposed to go to a drumming circle,
Mhm.
but it was 102 on Friday.
Mhm.
I just couldn't do it. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
outdoors. It'll be at the park.
No
The other
shade.
people wouldn't understand. I would burn up, and yeah, I can't do it. So I had to cancel.
Yeah.
Um, and that's
I feel
just
like
some of the
it's hard,
reality.
and to like play off of kind of the men and women experience. I think for women, we have a society puts a beauty standard. Like there's a
Right,
certain way that we feel like as women that we're supposed to look and act and do. And then for men, I'm just going to assume that it's also like, your pride, your strength,
yeah.
your worth in that aspect. It's not beauty. I mean, you don't want to be a beautiful man. Maybe you do. I
Some
don't know.
dudes
Who
do,
am I to
hey.
judge? Hey, who am I to
Right.
judge? But it's that same
Yeah,
feeling of, I'm not worthy if I'm not beautiful, or I'm not worthy if I'm not strong.
that's it
And,
right there.
you
Yeah,
know, and it's the same thing.
yeah,
We're just using a
absolutely.
different, I think it's an adjective. Sorry. I don't know.
Right.
My English teacher is
Uh,
probably yelling at me right now, but yeah, that feeling doesn't matter. It's the
right.
same thing.
And I've heard somebody say, I heard at the conference, well, women wear makeup to cover up. Well, men have our ways of covering up too. We use
Yeah.
our tough guy persona. I'm good, I'm tough.
Facial hair.
Yeah, yeah, I can cover up this way. But we
Yeah.
use sometimes that bravado that you see with men to mask what we're going through,
Right. Right.
Um, we carry ourselves in a certain way. We try to carry ourselves with pride and with our strides and all that. But then behind closed doors, we're like, oh, I didn't want to go
Yeah.
outside. I didn't want to go downstairs. And people say,
Sure.
we deal with these things.
Yeah, and it's this, I feel like it's the same thing. It's just we don't talk about it.
Right. We don't.
And part of to kind of piggyback off of that too, I hope that maybe there's an optional third day of the conference. Maybe there's like where that whole day is, hey, we got a women's breakout session for those who are able to come early and just get in the trenches. And then there's a men's group. And then maybe there's something that's like a dating group where people
Right.
that understand, and those of us who, I mean, I've only been married now, it'll be 4 years in August, but it's like to where I can say, hey, this is how I dealt with these things. And if
Right.
that's helpful for you to take that, make it your own, run with it, cool. Because we all have the same needs in a
Right.
way.
Right.
And I feel like there's so much still that we can learn from one another as a community, just by
Absolutely.
connecting.
And it will be great if they restructure the conference where the doctor's session is in the morning. Like first thing you do is the doctor's session. That way we
Yeah.
can have more time with the breakout sessions. Even if it leads into the break, we're still getting that conversation
Right.
without any interruption. And I think a relationship panel would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
And not just talking about, friendships, everything from friendships to um mutual relationships between men and women. You got your intimate relationships, you got your marriages, being single, being divorced, all
Yeah.
these things that we don't talk about in the community, and how vitiligo impacts all that.
Right. Right. And I think it also, it affects the parent-child relationship too.
Yes, absolutely.
And my parents, if they've never made me feel less than or, unworthy or anything like that. But I'm sure that they would tell you, I mean, that it kind of makes them sad in a way that I might have not, now I don't look maybe like they would have thought, because again,
Right.
they saw me as their precious little girl in their eyes, until I was 28. And then all of a sudden, here we go.
Right.
And so, it kind of hurts them a little bit,
Yeah,
and that's not talked about, you
absolutely. It
know?
is not. And it's funny, a former colleague, Rowan Bolsheman. Yes, I'm calling you out, Miss B. I know, which is funny because everybody thought we were married in school, because she
Oh,
was
that's
Mrs.
great.
B and I'm Mr. B, and I'm like, no, she's
Oh
Bolsheman, and
no.
she's married, and I'm not. But no, but what she did one day, I guess she realized I was struggling with my vitiligo. But she stopped me in the hallway And she said, Mark, I want you to know we don't see this. This is not what we're looking at when we see you. We see what's in
Yeah.
here, and that's what matters. And I just had to stop and think, like, we put so much emphasis on the skin, the results of having vitiligo, the patches, that we forget to look inside ourselves. That's why I wrote the song, Look Past My Spots.
Mhm.
It's really about being in a relationship or developing a relationship, could be a friendship, and just telling the person, look past what you see on the surface and look deeper into who I am, and we understand
Right.
people are afraid sometimes. People are hesitant, when they want to shake your hand and all that stuff. We see all these things, and we see the darting eyes when they're looking everywhere, like spot, 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 spot. Oh, there's another spot. We see when people are checking those things out, but we have
Right.
to tell people, get past that.
Mhm.
There's a human being underneath there.
Yeah. 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 And part of me wonders too if that's maybe why Michael just decided to bleach his skin.
Right.
That was the
Well,
only FDA treatment forever.
correction,
You
we
know?
can't say bleach. I forgot
Well,
the name of the
no,
process.
it
It
is
make
a type of it is
it
a
makes it go
bleaching agent
faster.
in that
Yeah,
cream. Yes, and
yeah,
that the bleaching agent that it is a medication, but
right.
that is in that cream to basically kill the rest of your melanocytes. Part of me wonders if, if his heart was so shattered that
Yeah,
he felt like that was his only option to continue in the public light, to be one tone,
right.
because people have a hard time with it.
Only
Even
reason,
though we've accepted it,
right,
it's
right.
hard for other people. They don't know how to act.
Only reason why I say don't say bleach, because now it's a
Yeah.
bleaching commercial. Hey, new Tide
Hey.
bleach, whatever. No,
No,
people when
no,
when they hear
no, no, no.
bleach, that's what they think about. Like he
Yeah.
was pouring bleach over his
No,
skin. And
no, no, no,
no,
no,
it's a
no, no.
whole medical
We don't
process.
eat Tide Pods. We don't eat
Don't
Tide
eat that.
Pods.
No.
No, we don't do any of that crazy stuff. No, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's that agent in your cream, that's prescribed. And part of me wonders if maybe that was his way of, and of course we'll never know, but
Right.
his way of kind of coping with being in the public light and having a body that changed all the time,
Right.
you
Right.
know, just to go ahead and say, hey, rip the Band-Aid off
Yeah.
and have one skin tone. And, going to the conference too. So of course, I know, we've got several friends that we've met through the conferences that have universal vitiligo,
Absolutely.
and it's not recognized. It's not widely known,
Right. Because people
and
just say, oh, they're light skinned or
yeah,
no, they've
why are
lost
they
all of their
here?
complexion. Right. Right.
All of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
let me say that. I'm glad you said that. Why are they here? Well, if
Mhm.
somebody's at the conference, they're there for a number of reasons. Either
Yeah.
one, they have vitiligo, whether you can see it or not. Two, they're there to support a spouse, family member, or friend. And three,
Child.
because they or child. And three, because they feel like it. I mean, we have allies in this business, and it's not a business, but we have allies when it comes to vitiligo advocacy that supports us. Like we had the Spencer family that came from Raleigh to support myself and Katrina. They know both of us. We appeared in their play. I played a character named Joe Johnson in Miss Janetta's play, and they came to support us. Neither
Yeah.
one of them have vitiligo, but they know us and they came to support. So we've got to stop looking at people like you don't belong here.
Right.
Everybody belongs. This is our
Amen.
community. Right.
Yeah. Amen.
Sorry,
Amen.
I had to get that off my
No,
chest.
I love that. And, because I think it is important. And, when I was talking with Erica Check at Insight about, representation, it's, obviously vitiligo affects every ethnicity, race,
Right.
gender, age. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like if you live on the planet, like
Right.
your tribe, if you will, can be affected by vitiligo. And I told her, I said, it'd be so cool if I don't know if it's a print campaign or if it's some kind of graphic or digital or something to show a rainbow of skin tone
Right.
that is affected by vitiligo. Because
Absolutely.
my mom, so bless my sweet little mom's heart, Tracy, love you so much. Shout out, mom. She came for the first time this year. So I've been coming 8 years to conferences, and she was like, I don't know why I waited so long. And my mom, when I was first diagnosed, just because she didn't know, she said, I thought that only
Black
Black
people. Yep.
people got that condition. I'm like, well, nope.
Right.
We all can, but like also like whatever. And and it was just like so eye-opening for her as somebody who, she loves her adult daughter with it, to then also see like, oh my gosh, wow. Like, because she hasn't seen it that much,
Right.
and
Right.
I mean, in her job and in her world, she's exposed to just, a certain like number of people every day, right? And so when you're not out and meeting other people with it, you might not interact with it. You don't see it, right?
Right.
Like your students, they see you every day for a
Right.
year or while they're in school, but they might not ever meet someone else with it,
Absolutely.
And so it's so important, for other people to see it and to
Right.
understand it.
And the cool thing, you mentioned my students, even as students that are not my students, or some that will become my students next year. Oh gosh, pray for me. No, I'm kidding. They already know about vitiligo.
Which is
Either
so
I've done a
cool.
presentation in their classroom, or they just see me and they just say, "Oh, that's Mr. B." They don't say, "Ill, look at his skin," or "Look at his skin." They said, "That's Mr. B." So what I'm doing, I feel like in the school, is normalizing having vitiligo without
Yep.
trying to tell people, "Hey, look at me. Y'all look at my skin." No, they see it.
Right.
If
Yeah.
they have questions, just ask,
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's so important. My husband, his cousin, so she was probably, gosh, 6 at the time, when he and I started dating. And I was sitting in the floor playing Barbies with her because I'm just a big kid, I'm happy to entertain,
Oh yeah.
whatever. And they were all like kind of getting dinner ready and whatnot. And she said, Miss Allison. I said, yes. She said, I want to ask a question, but I don't want to hurt your feelings. And I was
Okay.
like, and I knew. And
Yep.
and I said, and I told her, I said, Maggie, like, you can ask me anything. Like, first and foremost, before we even get to that, I want you to always know, like, you can talk to an adult. Like, you can
Right.
talk to a safe adult. Like, if there's something that you need, want, if you have a question, if you need help, like, I want you to always know, like, yes, you can ask anything. Okay, what is it? And she said, what happened to your hands? And I was like, well, and I'm like, okay, all right, how do I frame this, to a 6-year-old? She's precious. And she has the
Right.
cutest glasses and like she had the cutest, just big curly hair. And I said, Maggie, I said, you know how God gave you the most beautiful curly hair? Because they're believers. And she said, yeah. And she goes, well, and I said, you know how pretty it is, and it's so beautiful and different. And and I don't, and my hair's a little bit curly, but it's not as curly as yours. Yeah, yeah. I said, well, God made me special by giving me 2 colors of skin. And she goes, oh, really? And so it was so funny. It was so cute and innocent, but it's like having those kids exposed, like she knows what it is. And she was like, I'm going to go to school and make a friend with vitiligo. And I was like, well, I hope you do. You
Right.
probably won't, but I hope
Right.
you do.
The
But it
chances
was
are
just,
low,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah, but I hope you do. And, it's just like those little moments is how we really change, how the world sees us. And I think it was,
absolutely.
it was cool, to be able to do that, but
Absolutely. And I'm actually going to move us a little faster because we got a
love it.
storm coming up. I'm
Oh,
sitting
we
here
better get
like
with it.
talking. I'm like, is that thunder? It wasn't on the forecast, but it's here. It will be here. So let's continue. Let's talk about the
Yes.
conference real quick because
Oh my
you
gosh,
and
it's
I
amazing.
had a chance, yes, it was, to MC a conference. You know what was funny? Leading up to the conference, every day I'm practicing. I'm going over this in my head, going over this. And the day of Thursday, we get there, we're setting up stuff, doing this walkthrough. And then Friday, I'm like, it's time. It's on.
It's showtime
And
at the
yes,
Apollo.
we had no choice. And from there, it was our show.
Yes. Yes. It was amazing.
Yes,
I had so much fun.
absolutely. And what was funny, as I told people, and you said it too, that as we told people, we're not going to stick to the script all the time. And there was a lot of times we were off script completely, but we were having fun. We enjoyed it. It was great seeing the smiles on the other people's faces, and just, I don't know, like when I try to figure out what was my favorite part, I think all of it.
All of it. For me, it was all of it, but also I am a little impartial. So I have a new little vitiligo
Yes.
sister. She's 11 and she lives like 30 minutes away from me. And that was such a cool thing. I can't have children. And so, looking back on like why we come to conferences, why
Right.
we do what we do, what makes us tick, it's like, well, I don't have to be a mom to impact a child's life in a positive
Right.
way. by being a mentor, by showing up with vitiligo with a good attitude, and being on that stage with you and hamming it up, and not letting any of this stop
Right.
who we are in here. And that's just we can show all those kids that were there, hey, you want to do something, go do it.
Absolutely.
You've got it in you to go do whatever you want to do, instead of a special.
Absolutely. And what was cool too, I had some side conversations, not weird, I shouldn't say that weird, but I had someone talk to me about becoming a third grade teacher because she's moving into third grade. And I'm thinking, you're in a different state, so your curriculum is probably a little bit different. However, I can tell you my experience. And I'm like, I'm at a conference talking about school, but
Yeah.
that's how it was, talking about schooling, talking about other things at the conference. And I'm like, this is what it's all about, making connections beyond the skin. We were looking at each other as people, and that's what mattered. And it was great seeing people smiling. Even one of your other favorite people, Winnie Harlow, was there, and she was smiling as
Yes.
well, enjoying herself.
Yes. She's so beautiful, y'all. She is even prettier on the inside than she is on the outside, and she's absolutely drop dead gorgeous on the outside. And just for her to take the time to be with us, honestly, I wish people would maybe kind of quit treating her a little bit like a celebrity and more like one of our family members.
Right.
Because you can see that little girl in her when she's in that room surrounded by kids and, of course, adults that have it as well. And this little spark kind of turns on in her, and it's just a special thing to see. And, she's one of us.
Right. Absolutely.
She's just got a public face.
Absolutely.
So.
And I think we'll get there at some point where we do treat her as this is our family member and not our resident celebrity, because that's what she wants to be treated, as a part of the family. And doing so, you got to make her feel comfortable. And I think we did that at one point where we gave away the little prizes from the designers. And we were just like, hey, we got a little gift for you. Want you to come up. And, the look on her face was like, me? Come on. Like,
what?
Come on. Yeah. Yes, it was your time.
Yes. Yeah, it was really, really special. I think just the whole thing was amazing. And, it sounds kind of cheesy, but it feels like a family reunion.
Absolutely.
But like the family that you like, not like the weird uncle or like the weird, like no drama, none of that. But, it's just really special, just in a way that you can walk in a room, and it's the only place in the world where you can walk into a room and you're like, everybody's like me.
Yeah.
I told my mom, I was like, Mom, you're not going to fit in.
Right.
And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, you don't look like us.
Just wait.
Yeah, just wait. And it was really cool to share that with her.
And I say normal because one of the things we're really trying to do here in North Carolina is normalizing living with vitiligo. What does that mean? Doing what you would do on a normal basis. If I like to play sports, go play sports. If I like video games, go play video games. If I like to go out to eat or whatever you like to do those things and not worry about having vitiligo. That's the last thing you need to focus on, and I think we manage that where people just really enjoy being themselves.
Right. Yeah, it was amazing. And of course, the dance floor is always my favorite part. I will cut up with anybody. And it was really great, just to kind of see everybody living authentically and having that weekend. And, at the end of the day, I always bring up the kids. I believe that we are there, yes, for ourselves in a sense, but we are there because of the kiddos that are following in this path. And they leave that conference, and some of them went on to Camp Victory, which was really awesome. But they leave this experience knowing that there's other people in the world, grown-ups, that look like them, that feel like them, that understand them. And then they go back to their hometowns and, they know they're not alone.
Absolutely.
Because for their experience, they might be the only person in their whole town with it.
Right. And one thing I think some of them will take away is that, hey, I can be up there too. I can be on that stage as the MC also. And I saw one little girl at the end with her personality. I'm like, yeah, she's going to be up here running this conference soon. I can't remember her name, but she was
Verusha, I think. Verisha. I'm going to mispronounce it. I'm sorry if you're listening to this. I adore you. You're precious.
I'm not going to try it. I'm just going to say
she gave her speech, and I was like, oh, my girl. She was adorable.
Absolutely. And that's our goal, is to be able to turn the conference over to the next generation eventually. But in the process, showing them and guiding them, this is how you can run a conference. This is what you could do at a conference. Now, there's a lot with the conference that people don't know. There's a lot of the changes being made on the spot. There's a lot of
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
It's like, oh, got a message. Oh, Winnie's got to be out of here in 10 minutes. Oh, we got to do this. Oh,
Wrap
doctor
it
couldn't
up.
make it. Oh, we got to do this. Oh, they forgot this. Oh, we need mics up here. It was so much of that, but you also can't go, oh no, Winnie has to go. What do we do?
Yeah.
No,
We just rolled with it.
that's what we did. A lot of it we were rolling with because sometimes we were ahead of the schedule. Sometimes there was one time I needed a bathroom break. I was like, we're going to get a break at this moment because,
Yep.
just like y'all could just get up and freely move. I can't. Like when you're the MC, you got to
Right.
be on. All right, we're going to take a 30-minute, come back. Do your survey,
Yes.
come back. So
Yeah.
there's those things that you sometimes have to go off schedule. I know it's hard for some people to be flexible, but you have to be, even us as the MCs, we have to be flexible. A lot of people don't know we didn't get a chance to really eat on Friday night. We got our
The
food.
whole weekend.
Yeah.
The whole weekend.
Like
I
it's like
didn't
you're
really
eating is
eat.
like, oh, showtime. Friday night, well, we got our plate. We got our plates first. We sat down and then we had to get right on the stage. So it was like, gotta get on stage. And before you know it, we were in the fashion show. And then while up there giving Winnie her gifts, I'm watching them take the food away. And it's like, oh no, there's the food cart. They took it away. So yeah.
Yeah. The GVF, speaking of the conference, though, they did a great job.
Yes.
It was really amazing. And I feel like the bar has now been, it's gotten bigger and better every year. Not to say that the years previous were not amazing. They've all been amazing.
Yes.
But it's like that bar just keeps going up and up and up and up. And so now I'm like, okay, Dallas, everything's bigger in Texas. We got to show up.
You got to be bigger now. And one thing people may not
It's
realize,
awesome.
we were the last support community to host the conference. It was the 10-year anniversary of the conferences. We're the last one to host the conference. So next year we'll go to a committee. Y'all got to step it up because y'all got to work hard. And if you need some MCs,
we're available. We're available.
Yes.
No, I think it was amazing. And, honestly, I'm kind of excited for it to go to a committee. And the reason why I think that we've got so many different talents and skills and abilities in our community, that it's not really based on the state. We've got great people from the entire country. And if we can come together and pull skills and resources and abilities, I think it's just going to keep getting more amazing.
Absolutely. And that's a conversation I'm actually going to have with Erica as well, about how do we showcase the talent that we have in our community. I know we did it through modeling. Now it's time for us to look in other directions. Like if you got somebody who can sing, have them come up and sing. If you have somebody who's good at dancing or doing monologues or whatever it is, art, all these things need to be showcased because we are a community of human beings that are talented. We just so happen to have marble skin. That's it.
Speaking of that, I thought that was one of the neatest things. So I've been following some of the parents with kiddos, that have gone to Camp Victory, and they had a talent show.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
It was the cutest. I was just like, the whole time I was going, they were adorable and all so talented, so precious. And, what a neat way for them to, be in front of their peers because their peers all have vitiligo. And it was just a special, special thing. So I would love to, hopefully incorporate maybe a little bit of that this next year.
Yeah. I think there's a gateway for everything that we can do to really showcase our community. And just think about the conference. There were some other fun moments that we had, like MJ Footworks. Oh, it's starting to pour
amazing.
Yes. Sorry, that was a sidebar. Like at the conference, I just could hear that it's starting to rain. But MJ Footworks, we enjoyed having him. We were his largest audience ever. He enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's what it was all about. It was like about having fun, just forgetting that we have skin like this and just saying, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy the night and have fun. you know.
Yeah. Oh, it was a hoot on Sunday of the last day when they asked the kids what their favorite part was. And one little boy, he grabs his microphone and he goes, "I loved meeting Michael Jackson."
Yes, yes.
And I lost it. I
Yeah.
was like, that is amazing. But MJ Footworks was that great that this little boy thought he really was Michael
Right,
Jackson.
right.
I
And
was like,
and
oh,
hopefully no adult goes, "No, baby, that wasn't Michael." Stop
no.
it.
But
Let him be
no,
Michael
just let
Jackson for
him
that
have his
child.
moment. I
Yes.
was just anyway, it was really special. That was pretty
Absolutely.
cool.
And see, another highlight for myself was the Panthers cheerleaders and Sir Purr coming out, because I'm a big Panthers fan. Winning or losing, I'm
Go
saying that.
Cowboys.
See, some people go, "Oh, you only like them when they're winning." No, I was riding with the Panthers when they had a losing season. We couldn't figure out what was happening. So yeah.
Hey, I've been riding with the Cowboys since the beginning, okay? And I had a back-to-back, Super Bowl champs t-shirt back in the day. I think I was in like second, third grade, or third and fourth grade. It's been a minute.
Right.
I'm still on that bandwagon, so
Absolutely.
they're not gonna let me down. This is the year. So
I'm
no, that's
sorry.
pretty cool.
Just because we had the conference in Charlotte, it's the year of the Panthers. I'm just going to say that right now. Just because we had Sir Purr at the conference and the cheerleaders, I'm sorry. We just set the tone. We're going to keep riding all the way to Charlotte to the Super Bowl.
No, they were awesome. That was really special that they took the time to come.
Absolutely.
And they were really, really nice to do that. And
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Fun way. Yeah, it was a fun way to like send everything off, so it was pretty awesome.
And hopefully we could do something similar next year with the Cowboys. And who knows, maybe every year we can have some type of sports group come in or something. Because reason why I say that, because that appeals to the men also.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got to figure out. How do we appeal to everybody?
Well, but even from a sports perspective, coaches and coaching, it's about positivity and building each other up and like coming together as a team. And it's like, we can apply all of that to our community.
Absolutely. Well, so, Alison, I'm sorry. I'm going to wrap up our conversation because it's thundering back there and I don't play with thunder and lightning. But before we go, can you leave our listeners with some words of encouragement?
Yes, you are amazing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes,
you
Mark, and our listeners. You're amazing. You're beautiful. You're strong and courageous, and you're fearfully and wonderfully made, just as you are, spots and all. And I hope I get to meet you in Dallas in 2027 at World Vitiligo Day-USA conference.
Absolutely. And Alison, first of all, thank you for being here. I'm just going to say again, because the first time didn't work out for us, but I'm glad it worked this time. And we're beating the storm. So that's great.
Yes.
For the listeners, thank you for being here. As always, love having you here. I love people engaging with the conversations. I have one of my buddies, when he listens, he's like, "Hey, just listen to your show." And I appreciate that, So I will continue to do podcasts, whether it's 2 people listening or 10 people, 30, however many. To me, it's not about the numbers. It's about the people who listens, and whatever message we have in our show resonates with them. But once again, you have been listening to Living Life in Love. I'm your host, Mark Braxton from Raleigh, North Carolina. But as I always say, it is living your life and love. Live your life always. Make sure you love people, neighbors, family, friends, your children, your spouse, the stranger down the street that you may not like. They need love too, for whatever reasons. Maybe y'all just don't get along. Still love that person. But most of all, make sure you look in the mirror to yourself. I love you, because we don't do enough of that. So y'all take care. Alison, once again, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And for everybody else, y'all take care and peace. You gonna say peace, Alison?
Peace.
There we go. The camera had to get on you. All right, y'all take care. Bye.
Yes, bye.